Is it possible for anyone to get good at Fortnite? Do you ever sit and think to yourself, man, I wish I was born with that gamer gene, and resign yourself to the fact that you'll never be at the level of the sweaty players dominating your lobbies? Do you ever think to yourself, if I just had the time that these other players do, I could get good too? Or have you ever just thought, man, it would be fun to be really good at this game? If any of that resonates with you, then you've found the right place. I'm your average gamer. I wasn't born with that gamer gene. I'm just a 31-year-old dad that loves playing games and has dreamt about being good at any of them for a long time. Well, I've decided to stop feeling sorry for myself and go out there to really try improving. And that's what this Good and Good series is all about. I've viewed countless hours of educational Fortnite content, and my hope is to synthesize the advice from these creators that is helpful, apply it, and document the journey. There is no shortage of great information out there, but something I think would be valuable to see is the real-time journey of a truly average gamer taking the advice from improvement guides and videos, setting goals, and painting a very realistic picture of the time it will take to achieve those goals. I've set 3 goals as I begin my journey. 1. Achieve a 20% solo win rate. 2. Achieve an 8.0 KD. 3. Earn Unreal rank in 0 build. I got to these numbers by looking up stats of some of the streamers that I like to watch on Fortnite Tracker, looking at Chapter 5 Season 4 stats. I realize this data is a bit wonky because a lot of streamers have started playing much more reload than standard 0 build, but I worked with what I had. And I know that you can reach Unreal rank by just camping in a bush, shouts out to Bush Camp Dad, but including a target KD in my goals indicates that I'm planning to actually interact with other players on the map to achieve that goal. These are lofty goals considering I have 1 solo win this season, but I'm keeping in mind that this isn't where I want to be 30 or 60 days from now. I have no idea how long it will take to reach these goals, but what's going to be important is identifying how I'll meet these goals over time and adjusting my process as I continue to improve as a player. If you've made it to this point in the video, please consider hitting the like button to help improve discoverability. I'd really appreciate it. I don't know who said it first, but I'm taking the following advice to heart. If you fail to plan, then plan to fail. I have my goals set. How am I going to achieve those goals? I have identified 2 things I'll be focusing on as I get started on my improvement journey. I'm going to dub each of these a foundational focus. First, exhibit proficiency of basic gameplay mechanics. I have just over 300 hours in this game, but it was all on PS5 using a controller. I've recently made the leap to PC gaming and would really like to learn mouse and keyboard. I was never really great on controller in the first place, but my movement on mouse and keyboard particularly has been suspect, and I've felt the pain a few times in game since switching over. So, how am I going to track this? Luckily for me, we live in a world where TobyWanShinobi exists. He created a 0 build mastery course map that has 11 different scenarios, each one teaching a different core skill of 0 build gameplay. There's a scoring system so you can easily track your progress, working your way up from a white belt to a black belt. He even has amazingly laid out what the par score is for each scenario if you want to achieve black belt status. I'll put the map code in the description. Major shout out to TobyWanShinobi, who has made accomplishing this first goal so much easier. If you're looking for great educational content for 0 build, my first stop would absolutely be his YouTube page. Discovering Toby is one of the primary reasons that I'm starting this channel and taking improvement so seriously. He's fantastic, and you should go support him if you don't already. My second foundational focus is to exhibit proficient aim. A lot of educational creators out there will tell you that aim isn't everything, and that tactical or smart play can be enough to take you over the top. I think that's great advice, and it definitely seems like positioning and game sense are oftentimes a bigger issue for many players than they want to admit. I'm not great at those things myself, but I also don't think that these creators have seen aim like mine. There's a lot of room for improvement. I also watch guys like Zemi, Zeraxis, or Cosmic that have absolutely cracked aim, and it sure seems like it would be nice. So how am I going to track this? Luckily, I'm not alone in wanting to improve my aim, so there are tons of great tools out there already. I'm starting out using Aim Labs mainly because of the integration they have with the Voltaic benchmarks. Voltaic is an educational and entertainment content team that has created benchmarks and a lot of free resources for aim improvement. When you go to their site, it automatically links with your Aim Labs account. You just throw your username in there, and it gives you an extremely easy way to track your progress and shows you which part of your aim are the weakest, so you know what kind of tasks to play in Aim Labs as you work on improving. I've completed my first week of this journey, and I've already learned a ton about what it will take to improve and how to track progress and keep a positive mindset. I set my initial benchmark for the TobyWanShinobi Mastery course last week, and I was shocked that I actually scored enough points for green belt status with a score of 103. I created a Google Sheet to track my progress and easily identify which scenarios needed the most work. My lowest score from the initial benchmark run was the Shockwave Defense Drill, and while the movement course wasn't my second lowest score, I felt like starting to work on movement made a lot of sense for me considering the limited experience I've had on mouse and keyboard. I've worked each of these scenarios for about 30 minutes every day for the past week, and I've boosted my scores significantly. My initial score on the Shockwave Defense Drill was a 1, and over the past week I've been able to obtain an average score of 8.24 with a high score of 16, which is 1 point over the par score for a black belt run. My initial score on the Movement Mastery course was an 8, and I didn't even see the end of the course until day 4 of practicing. But as of this recording, I've made it to the end of the course several times and feel confident about achieving a par score on my next benchmark session. The aim improvement journey has begun, but I have a long way to go. My initial benchmarks on the novice difficulty had me at or below iron rank in every skill category except for one where I did have a silver rank. By the end of my first week, I'd raised 2 more skills to a bronze level and have seen some improvement across most of the scenarios. Unfortunately, it didn't dawn on me to track the details of my games until sitting down to write this script, and that is something I'll do moving forward. However, I can share that anecdotally, I don't feel like any skill improvement has shown up in my actual gameplay yet. There have been a couple flashes where my movement didn't get me eliminated, and I've occasionally hit some long-range shots I maybe wouldn't have before, but overall I still get into these lobbies and get absolutely clapped by players that are better than me, and this is obviously a very discouraging feeling. However, as I was reviewing everything to write this script, it struck me as I was looking at this graph. Look at this graph! That there are going to be highs and lows on this journey, and getting caught up in the day-to-day is going to be counterproductive. That's one reason why it's so important to track these things and have a reference point to show, yes, I'm improving, so that even when I have a frustrating day, I can go back and focus on that trend line or the bigger picture and know that I really am improving, even though it's a bumpy ride at times. If you've made it to the end of the video, I want to thank you so much for your time and ask if you'd be willing to hit that subscribe button. This is the first episode in this series. The plan is to publish a long-form video once per week, but I also upload shorts on a daily basis. If you want to follow along with the journey, ding that bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.